So I've made the criticism in a couple of videos that so-called power endurance circuits, as performed by both Hamzat Chimaev and Fabricio Werdum, aren't fit for purpose. In a word, they don't train power endurance. There are a few reasons why I think this is the case, but the biggest reason is this. Anytime you perform what I would term as a traditional rep, where you voluntarily bring the bar to a stop at the end of the range of motion, by definition, the bar is slowing down. That in turn means that you're applying less force against the bar, and less force equals less power. While it's true that something is better than nothing, and this type of work might improve power endurance in low-level trainees, the most productive power or power endurance training is going to be where you actually express high levels of power. A novel idea. You actually have to display the kind of qualities that you're trying to develop when you train them. And that's exactly how we want to be executing skills in grappling. When we take an opponent down, we want to be accelerating through them. When we're trying to break grips or separate hands, we want as much pop as possible because the resistance is going to be substantial. A better way to execute reps is by creating conditions where the deceleration portion of the rep is either greatly reduced or eliminated altogether. Although I'm not a fan of the Olympic lifts, one of the things that is useful about them is that gravity does the decelerating for you. Cleaning, snatching, and jerking are all movements where you're aggressively accelerating through the load at the end of the rep, because if you don't, you won't make it. Less complicated ways to do this is any kind of exercise where you're projecting or throwing the load. Bench throws, jump squats, barbell jumps, weighted box jumps, power rows, sled rows, they're all examples of this. And the same would apply with things like medicine ball throws, although obviously gravity is not doing the decelerating here. Sometimes these ballistic exercises might not be appropriate. Maybe your joints can't handle the impact of catching a weight or landing with one. Another reason might be that you're trying to develop power output with heavier loads. If this is the case, there are 3 other ways to load exercises that I would recommend. The first is by adding resistance bands to the bar. As you work through the rep, the tension in the band is going to increase, which means that you have to apply more and more force to maintain the same bar velocity. This significantly reduces the decelerative portion of the rep, boosting power output. Adding chains to the bar achieves broadly the same effect. As you lift the bar off the floor, you're forced to lift a higher number of chain links, the load gets heavier, and again, you're forced to produce more force, not less, to maintain bar speed. I can tell you firsthand that chains are way noisier and more difficult to set up, but they also tend to create a lot less soreness than bands. A third way to boost power output in training is via pneumatic or air resistance. These were popularized by Kaiser. The idea is the same, but the mechanism is slightly different. With traditional weights, once you get it moving, the amount of force required to keep it moving is much lower than at the start, and this is one of the reasons why the first part of the rep tends to be the hardest. With pneumatic resistance, that effect is removed, and you're required to apply the same amount of force through every part of the rep, no matter what the speed. As usual, if you have any other questions about physical prep for jiu-jitsu or grappling in general, please let me know, and I'll answer these questions in future videos. Thanks.